She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We are very blessed that you decided to join us today. Today we're going to talk about money. Is it possible that it's only $5 that could be the very thing that's keeping you broke? Come on, it's only $5. Is that possible? You see, justifying spending is something that I and my husband did for a really long time. You know the story. I was a homeless woman, started a business in the trunk of my car in a payphone booth, and made $250,000 my first year. Made my first million by the end of my second year. This all happened by the time I was 23. Today, I'm a multi-millionaire, international best-selling author, international speaker. In fact, I just came back speaking before millions of people in Honduras, of all places. That was so much fun and amazing. Giving 100% of the profits away from our business, and I take no salary. 100% of the profits goes to taking care of the extreme poor, people who are suffering. We're building 1,000 homes, actually, for the extreme poor. Helping kids get out of the sex trade, feeding 10,000 orphans every month, supplying 600,000 people every single day with clean, fresh, pure water, something that life cannot be. You can't have life without pure, clean water. This is what we do with the profits of our business. But the first 10 years of our life, we were fools financially. We justified everything. We bought into the lie that society has sold us, that success is the big, giant, 6,000 square foot house, that success is having 4 cars and 2 drivers, and of course those cars all have to be the best. That success is having $250,000 worth of jewelry, don't forget the giant rock. That success is having expensive clothing. That it is, yes, buying expensive food. Really, success is being a fool financially. And that's what my husband and I were for the first 10 years. And so on today's show, I'm really excited for us to kind of break into a poverty mentality, a poverty mindset that has really plagued most of the world, which is why 98% of the population ends up dead or dead broke by the age of 65. Dependent on their family, friends, or government for their main source of income. That's the majority of the population, and I know that is not supposed to be you. Even you who went to college, you got your PhD. Even you who have several master's degrees. It don't matter how smart you are. At the end of the day, most people are going to end up dead or dead broke at the age of 65. And I know that is not the destiny that you want, but it is the destiny you will have if you do not come out of the mindsets of 98% of the population. 98% of the population is stuck there because of the way they think, because your thoughts lead to actions, and those actions produce broke or they produce wealth. Everyone can learn how to create wealth. I don't care where you're coming from. I don't care what your background is. I don't care what your education is or isn't. It doesn't matter. You can make new changes today. You can learn new strategies today. You can learn new skill sets today that will change your financial destiny. I'm going to be hitting this topic pretty hard today. I really am. And I hope you've got the guts to look at your thoughts about money and your actions about money so you can make the appropriate changes right now so that you can change what the outcome is going to be. And bigger than changing the outcome of your personal outcome, what's more important than that is the outcome of the others that you have influence over. Yes, your children, your spouse, the others, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, the others, your coworkers, the people you go to church with, the people you grocery shop with. All of those others that are around you watching, you have the capacity to influence them into greatness and financial independence if you choose to get on that road yourself. So, is the attitude of, it's only $5. Is that what's keeping you broke? We asked a question on Facebook about justifying your finances. Where does it lead? when you have to justify your spending. I'm sure you've had people justify their spending. Well, I had to because, well, it was only, it's cheaper than what I would have done. Oh, we saved a bunch of money by buying this. No, the way to save money is to not buy it. That's the reality. So I want to know what your relationship is with money. Do you justify your spending? Do you think you deserve, because you work so hard, do you think you deserve to have your thermostat set at 70 degrees all year round? You deserve to have that Starbucks Venti caramel macchiato with a double shot of espresso. I don't even know if that's a drink. But anyway, I don't drink coffee. Do you deserve to go shopping at the malls every weekend and buy yourself new clothing? Do you deserve that cruise, even though you have all of this debt and you have all of this people that you owe money to and that you have nothing planned for your future? It's a mindset, this deserving. It's called entitlement. It's a straight up entitlement. So I want to know, have you walked in that entitlement? Have you walked in that attitude of I deserve this and I deserve that? I promise you, the marketers have been saying that to you, and now you've picked it up and you're saying it yourself. How's that working out for you, and how's that working out for your finances? So we're going to the phones. We got Jason Cedillo from San Antonio, Texas. Is it hot down there? Is it hot over there?
Oh, the temperature in my car is reading 103.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's a little blazing,
Yeah, oh, my. So, Jason, what about you?
Gosh, Danny, thank you so much for taking my call. And, you nailed a lot of it right on the head just with what you just said. I actually have a phrase with my friends, and we use the phrase, you deserve it. Like, go for it, you deserve it. And almost where it's funny, where we put it in a hashtag, kind of joking about it. But it's been going on for a couple of years now. But for me, I've had so many incredible life changes this year. I went to First Steps in January. And that phrase which was a kind of a funny ongoing joke and a way to give us a license to do some fun things.
Yep.
Now I cringe every time my friends say it to me because of what I learned at First Steps in Orlando, and then I went to another First Steps after that in San Antonio as well. So, but you pointed me in the right direction. After that First Steps, I actually quit the job that I was working at.
Wow.
I started a new job. I was able to triple my income with
what?
this new job. Danny, I can't even begin to tell you. And so I'm so grateful for you and for all the things that you're putting out, pressing play every day. Time Secrets has incredibly revolutionized what I'm doing. So I have a plan to pay off $52,000 in debt that I have in about 18 months.
Wow.
So the hard thing for me, though, is, and this is my question, is I grew up very poor, and I know in the States there's a different level of poor versus other countries, but in high school, 2 years in high school, we didn't have running water. So that's how poor we were. So I grew up on welfare, was physically abused, emotionally abused. I've forgiven my parents. I love them. However, for me, being on track to paying off debt and actually seeing money as a way to build wealth, not just going crazy because it's in my account because I never had it.
Yes.
My family, and this is my question, is I struggle with how do I help influence my family, because my family sees me as the success story. They didn't graduate high school. I'm the only one in my whole family, aunts, uncles, cousins, to go to college.
Wow.
And so I'm out there struggling. I'm making money now in a most money I've ever made, but they call on me to help bail out.
Yeah.
I love them and I want to help them.
Yeah.
I fixed my mom's radiator yesterday, which was, $300. But at what point does me helping them enable them where I'm hurting them more than helping them?
Jason, okay, first of all, I want to cry a river. I want to cry a river. I am so proud of you. I am so, so, so proud of you that you and I had a similar childhood and you have overcome. And you have invested in yourself to learn new skills, to learn new strategies, and humble enough to have mindsets that were poured into you as a young boy and as a young man and even around your peers, that you're willing to shatter those mindsets as you see, wait a second, is that really getting me to where I belong and where I should be? So I'm really blown away by the vulnerability you have, the humility you have, which is what true strength is, and the kind of man that you are. How old are your parents?
Thank you for that, Danny. I received that. Thank you.
Yeah.
My parents, my mom is 60. She had a really bad heart attack about 3 years ago, had a quadruple bypass. My dad is disabled, so he doesn't work.
Right.
So my mom is kind of carrying everything between her, my dad, and my brother, who lives with them from time to time, but she's operating everything on an income of about $1,500.
Wow.
Is what she makes.
Wow. Okay, so I understand, because you can only imagine that my husband and I get called upon all the time when family needs help as well, right?
Right.
Okay, we don't only get called upon by family. We get called upon by absolute perfect strangers. When Secret Millionaire aired, you're going to laugh your butt off on this one. When Secret Millionaire aired, we had thousands and thousands and thousands of people write us things like this. And this is not an exaggeration, all right? In fact, the search term Dani Johnson was volcanic for hours and hours and hours. In fact, we stopped counting after 8 hours. It was volcanic for 8 hours during the Secret Millionaire air. And we went to bed. It was at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, we're not going to watch anymore. We're out of here. So I have no idea how many more hours it was volcanic. It was the number one search term on the internet for that time, which was crazy, right? We got letters from people saying, you're a millionaire. How about you pay off my house? I only owe $250,000 on my home. Will you please pay off my 3 cars because you have money? Like, wow. I mean, we get those questions from family, but it's a whole nother level for perfect freaking strangers to be asking you to pay off their house and their car. Like, really? Oh my gosh. No, but how about they show you how to pay off your car and how to pay off your house? Jeez, man. You just want to grab their heads and push them together. Anyway, it is a balancing act, Jason, and it is important to honor your parents, but honoring your parents does not necessarily mean taking care of them financially. The reason why I asked the questions that I did, how old are your parents? Your parents are, unfortunately, at an age where they could, if they chose, to still work. Your family has had some major, terrible, traumatic things happen to it. And I believe that you've been strategically placed in that family to be an aid, but not an enabler. And there is a difference between the two of those things. And just because they call upon you and everything that they call upon you doesn't mean that you have to say yes to all things. And I believe it's really important to recognize, number one, who has blessed you financially, who has guided you to that success, who has opened the doors for you, and who has been about training you up to do those things. We're going to continue on this conversation when we get right back from this break. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue right after this.
Jason's income is skyrocketing, but he wants to be smart with it. After the break, Dani's advice for him might be the key to fixing your finances.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
Did you know you can take the Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
You might be in a situation where you might be the only person in your entire family that has any bit of money. My husband and I have had situations where we've had family members and friends and perfect strangers hitting us up constantly for money. That they think that because we're millionaires that, we must be gazillionaires, and that because we have it, they should be entitled to it. In fact, my sister, after I'd made my first million, she literally, these are the words that she said. Mind you, she's a drug addict, and mind you, she has a 8th grade education. But her answer was, well, you should just send me $5,000 a month because you have it. Like, I'm your sister, so you should just send me $5,000 a month. I mean, you have it. Why do you need all that you make? I was like, wow, like that is like a mindset that I am just blown away by. Joining me now is Jason. He just gave us his first steps to success testimony. He just came in January, came out of that event and tripled his income, which is a shock, and had many other things that have been happening in his life where he's just completely blessed. And he has the question of, I have family members. I grew up poor. My family's still poor. I'm the only one that's doing well. Help! So Jason, to continue this conversation that we had, your parents are a different story than everybody else in your life. And I think it's important that because you're now making the most money you've ever made in your life, don't make big, giant, drastic changes financially. I want you to live on what you used to live on. And you're on track to paying off. Did you say $52,000?
$52,000. Yeah, that's my school loan.
Yeah. Wow. So you're on track to be paying off $52,000 in the next 18 months. So you need to stay on track with that because that is a very important responsibility, right? You owe someone money. That's like blood. You owe them your blood. You owe them a part of your life because you borrowed something. Now you need to pay it back. And so be diligent with that. You know what I mean? And take the surplus that you have and really attack that debt with the surplus. Don't live according to the increase that you've received. Take the increase and attack your debt, as well as start throwing money into savings. Start throwing it into even a wealth account, which this coming November, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be having my husband join me at Creating a Dynasty with teaching about wealth development on a totally different strategic level than what my friend Toby Mathis teaches on. Both are absolutely phenomenal, and they dovetail into each other. But anyway, and the next dynasty is in Austin. You knew that, right?
I did. I actually already got my ticket.
That's so awesome. I'm so excited. I have to meet you. I absolutely have to meet you. Anyway, so what's important is that you keep on your financial track, and then, your parents. You got one that's disabled. The whole household is hinging on your poor mother who's 63, who just had a triple bypass. You are supposed to help. There's no question, but don't enable and don't act on every single need that they have. And so one of the things that you can do for them is you really should introduce them to the content and the mindset of what you've been introduced to. Let me tell you about a 72-year-old man that I encountered from Canada many years ago. His name is Bernie. And Bernie was 72, coming to First Step Success, and he was flat broke. And he was miserable. He was one of those mean, miserable jerks. And his family didn't like him. Richard Bernie Smith is his name. His family didn't like him. He didn't like his family. Okay, he was terrible financially, and he said, he goes, when I heard the first part of First Steps, and I heard 98% of the population dead or dead broke, he goes, I was just mad about it. But do you know what happened?
What happened?
In his 70s, he applied everything he learned at First Steps to Success. He got promoted in his profession. Hello? And he paid off $250,000 worth of debt in 4 years and became completely debt-free. Completely debt-free. So your parents are not too old to learn new tricks. They're not too old for their mindset to now start investing into their future. Don't let them die mentally as their son, Jason. Don't let them die financially. So part of the way is say, I'm going to help you, but I'm going to help you in more than just financial. I want to help our whole family, and this is what I want to introduce you to. I want to show you exactly how you can become more financially stable, how you guys can become more financially blessed. And so I'm willing to help as long as you're willing to learn. And that's how I would do it. Don't let your parents die with the same mindset that they have. Don't let them die with the same habits they have. For the sake of the children's children, for generations to come, give them the chance. Colonel Sanders was 65 years old when he started KFC. Their life is not over. If only I had enough time, Jason, to tell you all the stories I have of disabled people becoming financially independent. Even people who could not read, out of a guy in Australia who was 50 years old on welfare, could not read. The guy made 50 grand his first year, 250,000 his second year, and became completely debt-free. He learned how to read through our script books because there's an audio where I'm reading the script. So there's no excuse for your parents. I want you to lead them in more than just finances. Lead them in the way that you're living. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need.
So I was born and raised in Ukraine. I moved here in 2001, very poor. All we had is $3,600, no English, nothing. We came here, Jewish service community paid for 6 months for our apartment. They gave us 6 months of food stamps. They paid for 6 months of our medical, and they said, go. So just because, and Andres will attest to that, we're very hungry in Ukraine and ex-Soviet Union countries. So when we see opportunity, we get really excited. And I saw opportunity in this wonderful country. So I opened my own business, and I became successful very fast, making between $20,000 to $30,000 every month. But the problem is that my character was not there yet. The wisdom of God was not there yet to support that type of income. So what we did with that money, like I was living paycheck to paycheck, being on welfare and being on food stamps, we were living paycheck to paycheck, now making $20,000 to $30,000 a month. I have my first truck that I could afford that I bought was Cadillac Escalade with 22-inch rims. Hey, free estimates, everybody. And I built a big house. It was a $750,000 house for my huge ego, and I was not ready for the season when it rains. So when one of my biggest clients was investigated by FBI because of his mortgage loans, all of a sudden my business dipped, and I was stressed out, working so many hours, trying to keep up with all this debt that I acquired. It was $640,000 worth of debt that we acquired. Patrick Clunan, who's been part of this group for probably the past, 10 years. He formed me in the gym. He told me how huge I was, and I said, I love you, man. And he told us about coming here. We were really, not trusty. That's how we are, Ukrainians. But I did come, not even realizing that I'm in debt, that this is really bad, because everybody around me, my pastor, everybody in church were all in debt. And I was my eyes were open. It was just incredible time of learning and realizing that I need to realign myself. And we have paid off $640,000 worth of debt in using War on Debt in 2 years. Not just using War on Debt, but being a part of a community that keeps us accountable. That's the key. There are a lot of good products out there. Somebody mentioned Dave Ramsey and this and that, but unless you guys know, being in all kinds of industries, unless there is somebody there holding your hand, keeping you accountable, it is very hard to get results. And that's what that War on Debt and this community did for us. We are debt-free as of June of 2013. And we have, after going through a teaching with Hans Johnson, Dani's husband, we acquired 11 rental properties. My sales went from $2 million a year to $3.5 million a year. And I'll just let my wife real quick tell you what happened with our family.
I would say that for myself and him, the number one thing above all the financial the knowledge that we gained here was when we did the GEMS course that you guys did this morning. And we didn't just do it once, we continued to do it. It was such an eye-opener for our marriage. We came in with an okay and stable marriage. I don't know about you, but I don't know if I just want to settle for okay and stable. We were just kind of putting up with one another's differences. We just put up with one another, as good Christians do, right? And not realizing that we could, like, when I listened to his gems and the things about him, I no longer saw him as pushy or aggressive and overbearing. I began to see him as passionate and driven and hardworking and highly motivated. And he used to see me as kind of what's the unrealistic optimist, I guess, and in a little too optimistic for him. And then he began to see me as his encourager, as his bride who could think outside of the box and who could give him creative ideas. And so for us, it gave us a dynamic marriage where from okay and stable, we are now, I believe we can be unstoppable and do anything together. And though you have an opposite gem in your spouse, the neatest thing is you still have one vision. One vision. If you're united in Christ, you have one vision. And for us, our vision is the same. Our vision is building the kingdom of Christ. That's what we're called to do. We're called to be Christ's followers. And being okay and stable in our marriage was not good enough. It was not good enough. God says, I have more for you guys, and it has nothing really to do with the money. It's more what we can do with that money and how we've been able to help orphans and been bringing them into our homes to live with us, and then been able to find them adoptive families, and it's just, we've been able to have more fun. We've been able to travel more. We've been on the same page now, even though we're super opposite, and it's been such a great thing. So I just want to encourage you too, if you have a spouse that is not here and you are not on the same page yet with that spouse, know that I am praying for you. There's some specific ones of you that I've been praying for because I know it's in your heart to have your spouse on the same page. Just know that you just keep going. Don't quit. Keep loving them. Also, we've just been doing the grooming the next generation classes in our church, which is a great tool to expose all this if you have teams.
So please allow me to introduce my America's favorite millionaire and my personal mentor and coach, Dani Johnson.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Dani, come on. I'm only spending $50 a month at Starbucks. So what? I work hard for my money. I need my coffee in the morning. Listen, friend, do you want to stay broke? Do you want to stay in debt? Do you want to have the same financial struggles that your parents had? Do you want to always be under the pressure and the burden and the loss of sleep of debt? Or do you want your $50 a month on Starbucks? Come on. Do you want to be financially independent? Do you want to be able to travel around the world? Do you want to be totally financially free? Come on. Do you want to be able to dream and actually have the dreams realized? Quit being controlled by your habits. It's so simple to make these changes. We're talking about money, and we're talking about how to make those changes. Listen, my husband and I were financial fools for a long time. First decade of our business life, total financial fools. Made lots of money, spent it all, and somebody else's. Last 15 years of our life? No. No. We have chosen not to spend somebody else's. We have chosen to make money and to be wise with a little bit. To be faithful and trusted with a little bit. And as we've been faithful and trusted with a little, we've become rulers over much, much more. Like totally against what we should be. We both grew up on welfare. We both grew up where there were times where there was not food on the table. My husband had many times where there wasn't a roof over his head. I was even a homeless woman. Okay, so we defied all the odds that were against us. We were a part of every bad, and I mean bad, statistic that exists. And yet we were able to overcome, and so can you. Not only can you, you will. You will overcome. Your current finances are not going to be your future finances, as long as you're willing to make these simple little changes that my husband and I have made. So we've got joining us Rhonda from West Haven, Connecticut. We're talking about money. Girl, how do you justify your spending? Where are you? Did I open? There we go. Sorry, honey, start over. There we are. I can hear you now.
We have a lot of fights about the money.
You do?
Yes.
Do you like fighting? Do you like fighting about money?
No, I do not. I do not like it, but I'm the only one working. My husband's been working a few months here and there for the last 10 years. And he really didn't want me to pay for my realtor's license, and that's the only thing I have left. And if I don't pay that, then I will never get it back. But after listening to Jason, I think I'm shipping him to Texas for the
First steps to success.
yes. Or that Dynasty one. I think he needs to go to that Dynasty one.
You have to be a graduate of First Steps in order to qualify for
Oh,
Dynasty.
okay, then I'll start at the beginning with him.
Yes, you have to start at the beginning with him. Okay, so what are the fights about money? It's because you're making the money, he's not? Is he spending the money? What's the fight about money?
Well, there's never enough, of course, because only one's making. You can't live like that anymore. And I have gone without for so many years. And when I do splurge on myself, he's mad. But he's not sacrificing and he's not trying, I don't think, anyway.
Right. How much money do you make?
Not much, about $50,000 a year. But
Okay.
I live in Connecticut, and that's not enough to live in Connecticut.
Yeah, what's your mortgage?
Oh, well, actually, I'm in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, so my first mortgage is $14 a month, and my plan for the court is $600.
Wow. Okay, so you make $4,000 a month.
Yep.
What are you guys spending on food?
Very, very little.
What's very little? Is it $20 a week per person?
No, actually, I have my brother live in the basement, and he gives me about $150 a month for food.
Okay.
So I do spend all his money on the food. That's all he gives me.
Why is that all he's giving you? Why aren't you charging him for rent?
Because he's a bum.
No, you're the bum
Yeah?
if you're not charging him for rent.
I tell him every week he has to pay rent, but he doesn't.
Well, then he has to move out. Like if he rented my apartment and he didn't pay, he has to move out.
I know, but nobody else in our family will have him.
No, Rhonda, is that your responsibility?
No, actually, he's older than I am.
Oh my gosh, Rhonda. So whose responsibility is it to find a place to live? His or yours?
It's his.
Yeah. So anyway, if he can give you $150 a month, he can give you $300 a month.
Yeah, and I also have a 24-year-old son.
Rhonda?
That gives me about $50 a week.
Rhonda.
I hear you.
Rhonda.
I hear you.
When are you going to be done enabling all the men in your life?
Oh, God. I don't know how to break off with him.
Rhonda, when are you going to stop emasculating the men in your life?
I don't know. Should I bring them all to the First Steps to Wealth?
You know, it sounds like you might need to go.
I know I do. Believe me, I know I do. And I'm trying to read your book, but they want my attention 24/7.
Nope, Rhonda, you are in control of your own life.
Okay.
You are in control of your time. You are in control of what you do with your time. You are in control of what you listen to, who you listen to. You are in control of who is living with you under your roof and sucking the life and money from you.
Okay.
Your 24-year-old son needs to move out. Period.
Okay.
You are hurting your brother-in-law and you are hurting your son. You're hurting these two men, Rhonda. We're supposed to be helpmates, not do-mates. And we're not the helpmate of our son, and we're not the helpmate of our brother-in-law. We're the helpmate.
What about our husband?
Yes, we're the helpmate of our husband, but not our son and not our brother-in-law. No. So it sounds to me like you have 2 rooms that you can rent.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it sounds like there's 2 rooms that you could be collecting some rent on that would be able to bring in more additional income into the household. And those 2 renters will buy their own food, not pay you to buy the food. Make sense?
That sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds kind of freeing, doesn't it? It's real freeing.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So your son is going to have a wake-up call. He's at an age where it's time to be a man. I'm sorry, son. I have hurt you. I have hurt you to the point where I am actually training you to be a man that you will not be proud of one day. So I'm telling you right now that I'm going to do the best thing I could ever do for you because I love you and because I believe in you. It is time for you to spread your wings and to become the man that you know you are able to be. You've got 2 weeks. It's time to move on.
Okay.
Brother-in-law, I love you. Please forgive me. I've stood in your way of being the man that you were born to be. Please forgive me for creating an environment for you to lose your confidence and for you to lose your self-esteem. But you have 2 weeks to find a different place to stay because this is not going to continue in the way that it has been going. And I have hurt you by allowing you not to pay rent here. And the answer is no, you can't start paying rent today. It's not healthy for either one of us. So I'm really sorry, but today is the day that you find your new place and you've got 2 weeks and it's time to go. Okay?
It sounds good.
Mr. Husband, we're going to rent out 2 rooms and we're actually going to collect rent and we're not going to buy food for these people. It is their responsibility to buy their own food and to contribute to the electric bill, and they'll know that up front. There's plenty of people that would love to rent those 2 rooms, no matter what the condition of those 2 rooms are. There's plenty of people to rent those 2 rooms. And before you rent them, you're a realtor. You know how to do background checks. You know how to do credit checks. You know how to find out their references and find out whether or not those people should be living in your house.
Yes, I do.
Stop taking in the stray cats. They stink.
Okay.
They stink.
I also have the girlfriend's dog.
Rhonda? Rhonda.
I'm crazy, huh?
Rhonda? No, you have a precious heart with no boundaries.
Okay.
Dogs cost money.
Yes. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah. So honestly, you make enough money to create wealth. You have to get the bloodsuckers off of you. The dog goes back to the girlfriend. The dog is not your problem. The dog goes back in 3 days. Period.
Okay.
Done. It's gone. I want you to write me on Facebook and let me know that you did it. Okay?
I will.
Just show up on Facebook. Danny, I did my homework assignment. These 3 things are done. 4 things. You got to find roommates. Find the 2 roommates. Yeah. Okay? You have enough money. Get your butt to First Steps. Get your husband to First Steps. You make enough money to create wealth. $50,000 a year is more than enough for you to become completely debt-free and to create wealth and to no longer fight with your husband over money. There's plenty of money there. I will show you where it's going and how to grow it. All right?
Okay.
You got this, girlfriend. You got this. I can't wait for you to write me. All right. God bless you. Oh, such a good call. You know what? That's where a lot of people are living right now. If you're doing the same thing Rhonda's doing, it's time to change. We'll continue with more right after this.
Did you know sometimes helping can actually make things worse? When we come back, Dani will show you why.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job Domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.
Prior to getting started with DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, we were spending absolutely every dime that we made. We were really struggling financially. Since plugging in to First Steps to Success just 4 months ago, we started a brand new business that is doing very, very well. We've paid off $4,500 in debt, but the most important thing is my relationship with my husband has improved like dramatically. I mean, we have so much more fun together. You know, I don't know about you, maybe your finances, you're doing great, maybe you're debt-free, maybe your relationships with your spouse, with your family are great. But if not, if you have some areas in your life that feel a little out of control or there's things that you need to work on, I highly recommend getting to First Steps to Success as soon as you can.
Prior to being dragged out to First Steps to Success, I was hopeless. I had no point to life. It was a day-to-day existence, working a job I despised for people I didn't respect. Deeper and deeper debt every year. You just couldn't get on top of it. I just had no hopes or dreams, none at all, and there was no point to life. But since coming out, we paid off $280,000 worth of debt, married the woman of my dreams. I came to love my job and the people I work for. I have all kinds of hopes and dreams. I get to watch them happen every day. I don't know what your life is like, you know. There's probably tons of hope. You probably know why you live and you got places you're going, but if you don't, you need to sign up for First Steps to Success. You go to DaniJohnson.com and you click on it and be here, because your life will not be the same if you do.
Prior to First Steps to Success, I was drowning in debt, I was terrified of my bills, and I wanted to travel, but I never had the money. And since coming to First Steps to Success, in the last 14 months, I've paid off over $18,000 in debt. I've gone on 6 vacations, and I'm not terrified of my bills anymore. So if you want to learn some proven strategies to really learn how to connect with people, take your life to the next level, all while having a total blast, you need to get registered for the next First Steps to Success today.
Prior to coming to First Step to Success, we were totally struggling, totally under the weight of $640,000 worth of debt, making $20,000 a month, but living paycheck to paycheck. So when we came here, and I realized that it takes a totally different skill set to keep money, to create wealth than it is to make money, I have totally turned around our lifestyle. We have paid off $640,000 worth of debt in 2 years. We are debt-free as of June of 2013. I don't know where you're at. You might have all your finances in order. You might have a wonderful life. Your marriage might be all perfect and your kids are behaving. But if not, if one of those things is lacking, you gotta get here. Book your next event. You need to be here. You will not regret it.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Sometimes out of the goodness of your heart, you are helping people. But on the flip side of the coin, you could actually be hurting people. And that hurting people puts pressure on you, puts pressure on the spouse, puts pressure on the kids, puts pressure on your health, puts pressure on you at work. And now we have contention and fighting because there's no peace. There's important things that you got to look at in your life, and you have to decide, am I living it the way that I want to? What is sucking the life out of me? What is sucking the money away from me? What is taking energy away versus what is giving me energy? Now, okay, you might have little kids in the house. You're like, Dani, my kids are sucking the life out of me. Or my spouse is sucking the life out of me. Hold on a second. No, it's not them. I promise you, it's a bunch of other things that you might be saying yes to or that you are involved in that is draining you to where you have no patience for the spouse and the kids. that you have no patience at work because of saying yes to too many other things that you shouldn't be involved in. We're talking about money today. We're talking about where it's going. We're talking about our habits that lead us to poverty instead of creating new skills where we can start to create wealth. We've got Ashley on the phone from Dallas, Texas. Ashley, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani. Thank you for having me. Glad to be on.
It's great to be here. So you're a single mom?
No, I'm not a single mom.
Stay-at-home mom. Sorry.
Stay-at-home mom. Yeah.
Yes.
Stay-at-home mom. I have been for the majority of my marriage. I think I went to work a couple of times.
What a blessing.
And
what an absolute blessing that you have stepped into your role and that you are your own children's mother. I absolutely love that, and I respect you for that. Big time.
Yeah, and it really took a commitment on my part because with one income coming in the house and not being able to exactly have everything that you necessarily want and even sometimes need, it's just I got to get up and do something. Mm-hmm. And I think for a long time I was in a place where I didn't know what to do, and so when it came to spending money, especially on certain things, I was just kind of like in survival mode, and I didn't like to spend.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm the same way.
Spend. And some things
I'm the absolute same way. Yep.
And my husband, he gets on me like, babe, you need this.
My husband's the same way. My husband is the same way. Yep. That is a common conversation in our house. Big time. Like, no, I don't want that. No, I don't need that. No, I think it's unnecessary. And then, and then he's like, no, hello, you never do this for yourself. In fact, we just came back. We just came back from Honduras. I had a tour in Central America, in Nicaragua and Honduras, and it was an amazing, crazy trip. And the first part of the trip, I went to go visit the families that we've built homes for. Like, we're building complete villages, myself and we've got these business associates that I work with and clients that we've all just been rallying money together and building villages. So my son and I went down there to just visit, to be amongst those families. And so then I met my husband in Roatan because I had this trip in Honduras, a tour, also dealing with the poor. And the very first day, and he's so funny because he knows I wouldn't have done this. Okay, my husband was sneaking around. I noticed he was kind of sneaking around a little bit. Like he's like keeps going to the reception area, right? He's like, oh, I gotta go do something really. I gotta go ask a question about whatever. I'm like, this is weird. Like, he doesn't do that, right? Mm-hmm. So I just kind of discounted it. The very next day, sure enough, he gets a text message. He's like, oh, we gotta go. I'm like, where are we going? We're going for a walk. Let's go explore something. So he takes me down this dirt road, and we're just walking, and then he grabs my hand. He pulls me into a spa.
Oh, wow.
And he had bought a massage, a facial and a pedicure, things I never do for myself. And he says, this is for you. You work so hard for so many others. You never pamper yourself. This is for you. And I'm like, this money could be going to the poor.
And that's absolutely,
Yeah.
I'm on my way to having 3 kids. I'm in the last week before my third one was born.
Whoa!
So, yeah.
You got to text us a picture. Post it on Facebook. I got to see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's just.
So you feel guilty. I get it.
I do.
Yep, I get
it.
And
he's a little bit more spendthrift than I am.
My husband is as well.
Like,
yes.
You could have saved that for something else. And it's like, I'm quick to cancel. Like, are you sure? I can wait to get this. And, but I realize that it's a bit of fear sometimes, of not being able to get out of the hole that we've been in.
Right. Okay. Well, hold on. I don't know about that. Let me just tell you from a different perspective. Okay. My husband's like yours, and you seem to be a lot like me. And it's not a bad equation. It's an actually really good equation. You see, my job in the house is to be frugal. My job is to watch over and to make sure that we're not spending foolishly and that we're being very faithful over the little things. That's my governing position. My job is to help to be a part of creating the wealth by having a surplus by what I choose not to spend. The women are the biggest spenders in the household. We write the checks for the mortgage, for the bills, all that stuff. We're supposed to watch over those things and where the money's going.
Right.
So I wouldn't say it's guilt. I would say it's wisdom. I think you have financial wisdom, and I think that you have a desire to govern well over the financial territory in which you have been given. Now, when your husband wants to bless you, and I have to tell you the other side of it. So there I'm laying there about, he bought this body scrub thing for me, so they're like scrubbing the heck out of my skin with raw salt. And I sat there and I just began to cry. And I was like, Lord, why am I here doing this right now? And he says, you've been good to the poor. You have blessed everybody else. You have taken care of your husband. You've blessed your children. You care for everyone that is around you. Now I want my daughter to be cared for now. So there's those moments where you say, I received this. I received this. Thank you. Thank you. And so my husband just wanted to love on me. And so I chose to say, I received that. Was it hard? Sure it was. But at the same time, I was in tears because I was blessed. So I want you to really navigate wisdom. You see, in wisdom, there's balance. There's balance.
Right.
Don't be thinking it's fear, because it's not fear. It's wise to be looking at, wait a second, I want to get out of this hole. You are getting out of that hole. You are attacking the debt. You are being wise instead of foolish financially. Those things are beautiful. And on the flip side of it, that when God puts it upon your husband's heart to bless you, you say, thank you. I receive that. I don't need this. Yeah. This is not something that I desire, but I receive it that you love to give like this to me because you love me. And that's a receiving. And that's okay to say, thank you. I receive that.
That's a whole nother picture. I've never thought about it that way.
Yes. And I have to commend you, Ashley. Thank you for being a wise woman. Thank you for being responsible like you are. I absolutely love that you hold that position and that responsibility. You are very, very rare to not be one of those women that wants to put your husband in debt, that is always complaining that he doesn't make enough, always complaining that you don't have enough. I'm really proud of you that you're not that way. And that's amazing, and what an awesome example you are to your children. God bless you. Let us know how the birth goes. I can't wait to see a picture of the baby.
Thank you so much.
Yes. All right. God bless you, lady. Well, so far, we've talked a lot about finances in a lot of different perspectives, and I hope so far they've been helpful. We got one more segment left for you. We'll continue with more right after this.
Don't go away. The next segment might just change your life.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org. But I'm so blessed that I found what is in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is a book that is being taught in universities around the world. It's been noted as the best book on parenting that has ever been written. Crazy, if you ask me. But the point is that this thing gets results. Get your copy today, 888-757-8880. Again, that's 888-757-8880. Or go to DaniJohnson.com. That's DANI Johnson.com. Get your copy today.
More resources, more training, more results. The DaniJohnson.com Insider membership is your ultimate success shortcut. Get exclusive access to reports, videos, audios, ebooks, cheat sheets, and other training for your personal and professional life. This is truly DaniJohnson.com's best kept secret. Become an Insider member today and get on the fast track to success.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
It's time to take on a whole new mindset. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Do you think you deserve all your privileges? I don't. I don't think I deserve anything. I know my past. I know how disgusting I was. I know how disgusting I can be. I deserve to die. The wages of sin is death. And oh boy, do I have a tendency to be sinful. And boy, was I ever so more sinful in my past. It's only by the grace of my loving, loving, loving Father who adores his children that I have any blessing in my life. It's only by his grace that we have any blessing in our life. You know, we make mistakes all the time. And the finances that you have, if you're being faithful with the little that you've been given, whether the little is $100,000 a year, $100,000 a month, or $10,000 a year, your little is your little. Your amount is your amount. If you're faithful and trustworthy with it, you're not spending 100% of it every single day. You're not ending up with more month at the end of the money. You're not putting yourself in debt. If you're being faithful with the little, you're going to be made ruler over much, much more. So in wrapping up today's show, we're going to go over here and talk to Leah Gregory from Indiana. You said that it took you a while to understand that you deserve nothing. Was that a freeing understanding? To come to that place of knowing you don't deserve anything?
Was that a what? I'm sorry.
Was it freeing? Like, what was that like to have that revelation?
Oh, man. It was really hard. I grew up with loving parents who my mom would just buy me, like, little things here and there.
Yeah.
I had 6 siblings growing up. And so we didn't always get what we, like, needed at the time, so sometimes we'd have to wait.
Yep.
So when there was extra money, there would be these little purchases here and there.
Yep.
So that was the mindset I had going into marriage.
Youch.
Thinking that, okay, well,
we have a little extra. Let's get rid of it. Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I remember early on in our marriage, I would stop at Starbucks and buy coffee, or and I remember one time I threw it in our trash, like where we burn our like trash outside our house.
Yep.
Because I didn't want my husband to know. And then I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like, I'm being deceitful to my husband.
Yep.
For like $5. Like,
wow.
You know?
Wow.
And,
so
and
good.
I kind of had a funny experience at Starbucks too that I wanted to tell him about, but I was like,
I don't want to tell him that I was at Starbucks. Exactly. And look at that. And I love the fact, Leah, that you realized that that was a deceitful move for your husband. And we start doing that when we're children. Isn't that just so true that we start to do that as kids? We start to hide these little things and doing these little things in secret. And then it translates into our marriage. And it usually is in the area of finances. I love that you no longer do that. I love that you've moved past that. I love that you have matured as a woman who recognizes that I need to fix that. And coming into that revelation that I deserve nothing, that when you get something, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. The other part of this story is don't spend when you get a little more. Save it and multiply it to where you have an abundance of wealth and can do anything you want at that point. Listen, I have had a blast today working with you and talking with you about finances. If this has been a blessing to you, please don't keep it to yourself. You need to share it with other people. You can share it on Facebook, through email, through texting, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. There's a way to share this information. If you go to the website, DaniJohnson.com, you'll see the copy of today's program. Please share that with others. Tomorrow, you're going to join us again for another exciting show that's going to help to direct your life to your success. God bless you. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Did you hear that last segment? Do you know someone else who needs to hear it? Go to DaniJohnson.com, find today's show, and share it online. This has been the Dani Johnson Show. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.